Alright, these are Texas Persimmons on the tree. So I have a tarp underneath here. And you just give it a light shake, or if you're picking them by hand, they should just easily come off. So I don't pull them. I just slightly just run my fingers on them, then they should just pop off. If you have to pull on them, they're not ripe. That's how you pick Texas Persimmons. You can probably hear them hitting the tarp below. That's what I picked so far today. That's maybe about 6 cups or so. But once you start to notice them ripen, let's say half the tree is ripe, and you pick those, you need to go back about once a week, because they're going to continue to ripen until all the fruits are gone. So they can be early or late in the fall. It just depends on the season. Make sure you wear gloves. You can see what it did to my gloves. But I think that may be about 6 cups. That'll make maybe a quart, close to a quart. We'll see. Maybe not that much. That's 12 cups of Texas Persimmon. I put 2 cups of distilled water. I'm gonna boil those down for about 30 minutes or so, and then drain the juice and see how much juice it makes. So I cooked these down, boiled them for about 30 minutes or so on medium heat, just like I would do grapes. And then I collected it here in this bucket. Now I'm straining it out. And then once I strain out the smaller particles, then I'll take just the juice and I'll go ahead and put it in a canning jar and save it for later. So with the Texas Persimmons, they'll ripen from July all the way until the first frost. And so they won't all ripen at the same time. And so I'll just can them along the way until I have enough juice to use either to make jelly, and this is really thick, or to make wine. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make the Texas Persimmon wine. So we've got our 12 cups, or 3 quarts juice. We're going to do 4 cups of distilled water. I've already mixed in the 1 teaspoon of pectin enzyme, the 1 teaspoon of yeast nutrient, the 1 teaspoon of yeast energizer, and then the 2.5 tablespoons of the acid blend and the crushed Camden tablet. Already done that. So now we're gonna add in everything else, let it set for 24 hours, and then add the yeast in tomorrow around the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in, look how dark, it almost looks like molasses. Not as thick as molasses, but it is dark. I'm gonna use these to measure out my sugar and my, well, that was a little thicker. I must have concentrated that one a little bit more, boiled it down a little bit more, so I'm gonna wash that one out. Get some more of that in. So we need 4 cups. I'm going to fill one of these. Alright, I'm not going to pour all of that out yet. I'm going to use that to kind of wash some of this out. I'm going to pour some down in here, some in this one too, just to try to get most of that out. It's already splashed up on the sides of the bucket here. Alright, so now fill these up with sugar. Actually, I may not fill them all the way up. It may be just easier to do one halfway and the other one halfway. Wow, that's going to be right at 4 cups. And we'll just dump those in there. It's going to kind of stick, so I'm going to wash some of that off with distilled water. Not much, just a little bit to slosh around. Won't hurt to have a little extra, but roughly 4 cups is what we're shooting for. Gotta wash some of that sugar out of there. Make sure I get all 4 cups of the sugar.
because the yeast is really going to need that sugar. So now put in the distilled water, put in the juice and the sugar, and everything else is in there, all the yeast energizer, nutrient, and the Camden tablets. All that good stuff has already been mixed in. So we'll cover this, wait 24 hours, and then add the yeast. The Texas Persimmon is done with primary fermentation, and I washed out some of the sediment. So I poured it off, and what sediment was left I washed it out of the bucket, and so now I'm straining it to get rid of a large portion of the sediment. You're going to have a lot with this fruit. It's going to have a lot of sediment, and so it's going to take a little bit longer to strain it, and then we'll pour it over into a gallon jug, fill it to the top, and let it do secondary fermentation, and that'll last for about 3 weeks.